so many women entrepreneurs are so hard on themselves, and they're caretakers and their parents and their mothers and all too. And then we always tell ourselves, yeah, I'm fine the way it is. I'm good. But yet they had these dreams and they had this vision of where they wanted to take it. But sometimes that little clutter on their shoulder gets in the way of them really hitting that dream. So why not? Why not take that 4% of entrepreneurs that hit 1 million, and 1% are women, and less than 1% are women of color? And we want to change that to at least 2%. And so Shadow Her was born. I can't thank all of you enough for being here today. 5 years, you're going to see a room of 250 people. And you're going to see a lot more women entrepreneurs getting out of here. And so within 5 years, that's going to happen. So I'm super excited about all this and where it's going to go. But, you have to keep in mind the power of you. Everybody has it within them. And sometimes someone says to me, oh, you're so lucky. And I look at them, I'm like, luck. I'm not too sure the word is luck, but it's a lot of faith. It's a lot of people that got me here. I have a huge tribe. Someone said, hey, I believe in you. Someone said, hey, you can do better. Someone said, hey, you know what, I have a friend. Someone said, hey, you know what, I believe in what you're trying to do. How can I help you? And so if we can just do that as that power of you that you have inside of you to help somebody else out there, just one person. And even if it's basically I try to do three things nice a day. Someone has nice shoes, somebody has nice glasses, like Martha always has beautiful glasses, and nice shoes too, by the way. But by just saying that, they could have just made their day. And that's our job. Our job is to make the world around a little better. So the power of you is so amazing. And when you get these people together and you really help out and you share and you give back and all, that one thing could have made the difference in someone's life. Now, I'm going to tell you a story. My parents were, they were great people. They would do anything for anybody. This is in December, and it was freezing cold outside, and Skip, who was my mailman for years, had fallen on some hard times. Got a divorce, had 2 old sons, same age as my sister and me. And I'll never forget, it was a little blustery, snowy evening, and knocked on the door. And my mother was really, really shocked. She would go into the kitchen and she's like, who is it? And my dad was like, it's Skip. And my dad was like, come on, Skip, get out of the cold. And now my mother's like, what are you doing? Like, he's an alcoholic and falling on hard times. And, my dad didn't care. My dad was like, he brought them in the house and he had him sit on our furniture. And when he was leaving, I know my dad went in his pocket and he pulled out some money and he gave it to him. I was like, whoa. And I was like, you know what? That day, and he left that day, but he left knowing that I, as his daughter, seeing all that, was like, in fact, the power of you. So the power of my dad taking him in, having him sit down, warming him up, offering him food, giving him $1 that my dad really didn't have. But that to me says to me, like, we all have that power of you inside of us. We just have to come and go down deep and find it, but because everybody has that in them, that just one thing, that one time can make an impact for the rest of your lives. And all of you sitting here today are doing that. You wouldn't be here if you didn't care. You wouldn't be here if you didn't want to do better in this world. And so I'm just so proud of all of you for basically participating and helping Shadow Her to get where it's at today. Because without any of you, we would not be here.
My daughter, Julia, when she was a junior in high school, really wanted to do something for teen girls because she thought that they were struggling, and she was struggling as well in her mental health journey. She's like, I want to have a summit. I want to have an empowerment day. I want to give back. I want to show these girls that we can build them up and instill some really great, wonderful self-confidence. I said, Julia, these social issues are bigger than me and bigger than you. You get friends behind you, and I will get women behind you. So 5 years ago, my daughter grabbed 15, 16, and 17-year-old girls. They came to my house the next day around the dining room table because they had Instagram and they just were ready to go in a minute. And it was exciting. And they sat around the table, and my daughter, before they came in, showed me their website and it said Girls Inspire. I said, that's beautiful. And she had it all set up. And I said, but you need to get your people behind you and get them engaged and encouraged Just share your vision. Don't share yet just what it is. And together you'll come up with something that's going to be amazing with your team. So they did, and they sat around that table. It's my only regret not having a video camera, because it's 15, 16, and 17-year-old girls came up with this beautiful name, and it's called Girls Spark, and it sits on 3 pillars: ignite, overcome, and inspire. And it's about igniting awareness, it's about overcoming adversity, and it's about inspiring others. And we held our first summit in 2019. We had 153 teen girls show up for this one-day empowerment, and it was special and it was awesome.
My story is a story of how the simplest gestures of reaching out to someone can transform their life. It was March 2020. A few of you might remember that time. And I had just recently joined a professional organization. And 10 days later, I was let go from my job that I had been at for decades. I was in a panic, and I emailed to my contacts at this organization and said, I certainly hope I can still be a member. You know, I've lost my job like so many other people had. And within 3.5 minutes, I had several emails of, go to this networking event, reach out to this person, how can I help you? I mean, it was incredible. So, you know, over the months, of course, I was looking for another W-2 job. And one thing led to another. And because of these people giving me support and even introducing me to the O'Connor group, that was like the top of the list of networking organizations, I formed my LLC, and I'm out on my own. And it's been over 3 years now that I've had my marketing business, helping other companies with their marketing efforts. But it was on that day, I'll never forget, when I got all those emails and people said, I know it's just a small thing, but try this or do that or whatever, that it just led me on this most amazing and incredible path. And the power of a single gesture, like Marcia said, is not to be forgotten or disputed.
Personally, our family, many of you know this story, but our family welcomed identical twin girls at 23 weeks and 5 days, over 13 years ago. Our daughter Mary was only with us for 2 weeks. Before she passed away, our daughter Claire spent 3.5 months in the NICU before coming home. That experience has changed the direction of our lives, my life in particular, of dedicating our time to being able to serve families who have experienced the NICU, who have experienced child loss, who have gone through those challenging times through school and growth. And the only reason that I'm standing here before all of you today, and that we have this incredible community of Today is a Good Day NICU families, supporters, is all because of us wanting to be together, of the community that we've built, and of us wanting to make a difference for others who are going through these truly challenging times.
My husband had a stroke 2 years ago that disabled him. And I think that's my power. Getting through the days. It's been 2 years, come the 11th. Raising 2 girls, one of whom I'm trying to get involved in Girls Spark. So all these things are intersecting today for me. But this system is not built for people who are struggling with medical crisis. But what has gotten me through, a lot of disappointment, people who've disappeared, a lot of pressure to work full time. But what has gotten me through has been that community. And particularly the community of women and the community of businesses. The advice is don't insulate yourself, ask for help. Your community can often be there to help you, and mine definitely has.
So in 2019, we were running inclusive volunteer events throughout the community for people of all abilities to come show their ability to give back and strengthen their shared community. And one of those volunteers who showed up was a woman with Down syndrome named Heather Michelson. And she said, I think I remember you from somewhere. And she looked familiar to me too. We could not figure it out. She came back the following week with a 30-year-old picture. She said, you were my counselor in 1991. And we thought back, and we were teenagers in high school in Montgomery County, and we both of us, along with some other kids, went to the Pocono Mountains for a retreat. And because I don't live with Down syndrome, I was made her counselor. And because she lives with Down syndrome, she was made a camper. So the message that I was getting was that she needed to be cared for. She couldn't make her own decisions. I don't believe in coincidences. And I don't believe that she walked in that library to volunteer and recognized me and brought in that picture. I don't think that was a coincidence. She's now the host of our podcast twice a week. It's called Hanging with Heather. She interviews vice presidents of corporations, professors from universities, business owners. She's our corporate and community educator. And we're excited to take something like Shadow Her and realize that in the room, we want 250 people in the room, absolutely. And we want women with autism in the room. We want women with Down syndrome in the room. She has her own business now, which is super exciting. When I offered her first paycheck, I said, "You've been a volunteer, but we want to elevate that. I want you on our paid staff." She started to cry. And I thought the money that I offered her, which was kind of what I was making, she said, I thought, I offended her with the amount. And she said, "I'm crying because I never received a paycheck before." And she worked for 19 years in a preschool as a teaching assistant alongside people that were paid to do the exact same job. So I want to pay back my experience from Shadow Her, and for everyone who was part of that initial idea, for everyone that invested in me, so that we can now turn around and make sure that our doors are open wider so that women of all abilities who are often discounted and really sidelined from leadership opportunities can be brought into this amazing work, because we want them to be part of getting us to that 2%.